Hello everyone and welcome. So uh E3's still going on, but the major conferences are pretty much done for this year's E3. And it was a pretty interesting E3, I'm not gonna lie. And so today I kind of want to do a tier list of sorts for the conferences that were at this year's E3. Um, sort of kind of want to do this because a buddy of mine did his own tier list, going through the different conferences that were going on, and sort of kind of want me to do the same thing. So here I am doing it. So the thing with the ratings on these conferences, so it's gonna be kind of weird. Now, um, for example, I'm sort of biased with more with sort of liking more so the Sony and Nintendo stuff than I do Microsoft. Um, so I probably won't rank certain conferences highly over others because maybe a lot those companies don't really have games that interest me. But with that being the case, though, I'm still gonna consider what was shown and sort of the presentation of how the conference itself went. So that's basically the general rule of it. So if for example a conference showed a lot of, let's say, RTS games, which I don't play, then I'm probably gonna really see it highly. So it's gonna be whatever to me. So but if it has really good presentation, then I would consider it for it. But honestly, it needs to be a balance of the two, or if you can exceed in both. So so that's just some things to consider when doing this tier list. So without further ado, let's begin. Let's start with Sony. All right, Sony wasn't at this year's E3, so we're not even gonna consider it. Besides Sony, we're also not gonna do PC gaming show, as I did not see the PC gaming show. So we're gonna start from the first conference to the last conference. So first up, EA. Now EA's did different this year and did more of a direct, which honestly it was probably for the best. Um, they did not have much to talk about, honestly. They had the standard Battlefield 5, Madden, FIFA, and they announced Apex Legends Season 2, which, okay, and Star Wars Jedi The Fallen Order, probably their biggest game, and the one they showed off the most, obviously. It's, EA's gotten a lot of backlash with their Battlefront games and their microtransactions, and this time around, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a single player game with no microtransactions. Hopefully and thankfully, if it is true. Um, and from what we saw, it looks pretty good. Gives me a bit of a Forced Unleashed vibe. Um, just without the choice of joining the Sith or the Jedi. Good and evil. You're just straight up good, I guess. So doesn't seem to be a kind of the stories in your hands sort of thing. It's just sort of like you're just following a straightforward narrative, which is fine. There's games that do that, obviously, but just something to keep in mind. um FIFA and Madden, I don't care about either Battlefield and Apex Legends. So um yeah, I honestly did not really care what EA had. I already knew going in that I wasn't expecting much from EA, so um, I'll put it in C, mainly due to the fact that Star Wars Jedi pretty much carried their conference, and even that's even not even saying much, really. I mean, so, but it was good to see more gameplay of it. And then Apex Legends, everyone looks forward to Apex Legends. New battle pass, new character, you know, nothing crazy. So, yay, just to see, whatever. And they turned into a direct rather than an actual big conference, which meant they just focus on what they need to talk about and they move on, which was good. If they had an actual conference, like a stage and everything, then I would probably knock it down to a D, just because I feel just going there would just be a waste of time. Yeah, that's just my opinion. But yay, a C. Microsoft was the biggest for sure. Obviously, with Sony not being there, Xbox definitely has a lot on their shoulders in terms of um, giving information to the public and announcing these. Obviously the Xbox and the PlayStation being the strongest consoles out on the market right now. They're the most powerful system. It's what the majority of people have. So obviously Xbox and PlayStation are pretty similar, minus their exclusives, obviously. So a lot of the third-party games are going to appear on Microsoft's um, conference. So it was kind of expected it to be like around like 2 hours long. At least when it felt like I was watching it for like 2 hours. So it's not so much Microsoft's fault. It's just more so they pretty much got like the heavy load since Sony's not there. So I'll cut them a bit on of a break on this one because, like I said, it did feel pretty long for me, and there were moments where I just kind of checked out for a bit. So I didn't really um like get too into Microsoft's conference, but there was some things that I did like hearing in terms of what Microsoft had to show off. So um, just some of the things to talk about. Um, there's a game called Bleeding Edge, which it's by the people that made the DMC Devil May Cry, which has very fluid combo combat. Altering different types of combat from shooting to melee. All that stuff. So they're making a like 4-on-4 type of multiplayer third-person combat competitive game. Looks like Overwatch on steroids, if that makes any sense. That's like the best way I can put it. Is like these weird, I don't even know, even beings, creature things, just going at. They're obviously people, but like they're just all like oddly designed and everything. I mean, it's nothing I really have seen before. Like the premise itself seems very stereotypical, but the character designs seem very unique, I guess is the best way to put it. Um, Obviously, if you're into competitive, like small competitive games, such as like I don't know, like Rainbow and like I said, like Overwatch, maybe this might pique your interest. So something to look for. Borderlands 3 looks great, looks fun. Nothing really much to say about it. I've only played a little bit of Borderlands 1, played a little bit more Borderlands 2, and looking to Borderlands 3, it looks like it's gonna be a good game. Uh, I've heard nothing but positive things about the game, so um, nothing wrong with it. Just It's just Borderlands, and nothing wrong with that. What else? What else? They show off a lot of indie games, and really quick, what I want to say is I have nothing against indie games. I've played good indie games in the past, and again, nothing wrong with them, but I'm just not really looking into all these indie games. I'm looking more into what these big companies have in store for us, whether it be sequels to games we played previously, um, new IPs that they want to go with, new exclusives, stuff like that. Indie games are literally accessible on any sort of platform. So again, it being Microsoft, as well as they're like the big one there. They're just gonna dump all the indie games on them and everything. Some of them be exclusive to Xbox, some of them being on Sony's platform as well. So it's nothing crazy there, but there's just a bunch of them. I'm sure there's gonna be something out there for someone to get. So it's not like, um, this is not for me. So again, I personally do not care for the indie games, but I'm sure someone will. Cyberpunk 2077. Now, this to me personally was Microsoft's highlight, or at least one of their highlights. There's another one in particular that I will cover probably a little towards the end of talking about Microsoft's conference. Cyberpunk 2077. If I wasn't really excited to play this game, I am now. As I say, Keanu Reeves, amazing, just amazing dude. He, Keanu Reeves himself, sold me the game. Just outright saying that he sold me the game. His energy, his vibe, just it's gonna go with the game. It's like it's like a match made in heaven. So, um, besides that, CD Projekt Red, they made The Witcher 3, and Witcher 3 is really good. And yeah, nothing else to really say about that. It's gonna be an exciting game, something different, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. And again, Keanu Reeves. That's all I gotta say. So, um, we got a release date for it too. What was it again? It was, I think it was April 16th. Um, I think it was. I think it was April 16th. Just let me double check and make sure. Hmm. Come on, where's the? April 16th, 2020. So got a release date for it. Okay. Let's see what else was there. Gears 5. Set to come out in a couple of months. Um, as one of the games I was looking forward to hear from Microsoft, I didn't really feel the trailer, and that I don't know, it just didn't really catch me with the whole thing of like the girl main character, just like in the center, and then like just spirit versions of Marcus Phoenix and the crew are just like pulling out for her, and she's pulling from herself, and it felt very artsy. Didn't feel very Gears of War I don't know. I personally never really played the series. I think I've only played like the first one for like a little bit, and that's it. Um, but it's one of their exclusives that I was excited to, know more about. But they didn't really, they didn't really go into much with that. Other than there's gonna be also a three-player co-op mode, and then you're also gonna be able to, I think if you pre-order it, get a Terminator DLC, which is like the second game to get like some sort of Terminator DLC. I don't know what's going on with Terminator right now. There's like a special deal going on, but yeah, I have no clue. Um, so that was that. They announced Battletoads. All right, we got Battletoads. Um, they've gotten a game that was on PC, and now it's coming to Xbox, called Crossfire X. They've also gotten which was surprising to me, they got uh it was a Japanese game exclusive to Japan, and now it's coming over to the West, and it's called Phantasy Star Online 2, which apparently, I'm looking this up right now, is apparently coming to PS4, Switch, iOS, and PC, so it's not exclusive. So you probably get it first on Xbox One, because I remember they said something about some sort of special deal. We found out that Double Fine is not gonna be part of the Xbox family. So, and they show Psychonauts 2, which I'm pretty much at the end of the games. I'm playing it for the first time. It's a pretty interesting game, pretty funny, and to hear that's part of the Microsoft family, I was like, does that mean it's gonna come to only Xbox and not any other system? Uh, I'm looking on here. It says PC, Xbox One, PS4. I don't know if that's changed or not, but I believe this is up to date, so I don't think so. So, they showed off more with Rage 2 with some weird medley playing. It sounded like the Wii Shop channel. I think it's the Wii Shop channel. And it sounded like some Mario music. I don't know what was going on there, but alright. State of Decay 2 DLC. Alright. Tales of Arise, a game from the Tales series, which looks incredible. That game looked gorgeous. Now, I've played Tales of Berseria, which is the latest one currently, and that game looked decent, but this one's like on a whole nother level. So it looks really promising. Some uh, what else was shown? A bunch of other stuff shown too. I'm not gonna be able to cover all of them because it's just too much. I know one of them is with Forza. They sort of have this like partnership with Legos, I guess, where you can turn some cars into like Lego form with like Lego people inside, but like they're like they're like the size of normal people, and so are the cars and everything, and some of the tracks are like Legoed, and all the obstacles are like Legoed. It looked really cool. Like that sort of like crossover thing looked really cool. And speaking of Legos, they're doing all of the Star Wars movies from obviously episode 1 to, I think they're gonna do up to the new Rise of Skywalker movie, and they're calling it the Skywalker Saga. So that's interesting that they're actually gonna like kind of pretty much just redo like the first six Lego Star Wars games to put them into like this big bundle. It's I mean, interesting. I mean, I never played them when I was a kid, but I remember people loving them as when they were kids. This probably won't be bad. So, I mean, that's good. Um, and there's probably a bunch of other stuff that I miss for sure, but those are the ones that really kind of come to like the top of my head. And then, well, there's one more thing, but I'll get to it after. And yeah, okay. So, and then one of the things they talked about was like this Xbox subscription service where you pay $99 a month, and for your PC, I don't know, there's a deal for PC for just PC or one, and there's one for just console, or there's only applies to PC, but pretty much gives you access to Xbox's library of games, like over 100 plus games. And if you pay $14.99 a month, you'll get access to all those games on PC, on your Xbox, and you'll get Xbox Live Gold membership, all for 14.99 a month. And starting right now, I think for like the next couple of days, you can actually get it for $1 for your first month for just $1. So, and that seems to be the trend that people are having with these streaming services. Is they're just providing it now for um, their games and everything. So it seems to be something that is going to lead on in the future. So I guess it sounds good and bad in terms of like physical copies. Paying $6 for a game. Just we're kind of dying now and leaning more into you know pay a certain amount a month and you'll get access to that game. New releases plus old ones. Which is good, but just the idea of getting physical cases could die out eventually if these type of services actually are successful. So I don't know. We'll see. And then after that, they announced their new Elite controller, which is, let me see, I'm still recording. Okay, which you know, if you want to pay $180 for uh a, a a better controller, I guess, then sure, go on ahead. It's up to you. And then they announced Project Scarlet, which is their new console, which is supposed to come in the holiday of 2020. And this thing sounds like a beast in terms of how powerful it is. And to show off how powerful it is, they said that Halo, I believe, is Infinite or Infinity, one of the two. They say the new Halo will be a launch title for the new Xbox, and the last thing they showed was the new Halo, and holy crap, it looks gorgeous. It looks outstandingly good. Um, and man, it just sort of it gets me really hype. I'm hoping it comes to PC because I don't want to spend like I don't know how much the new console is gonna cost, but I'm just gonna say like a big price, like $600 for a new console just to play one game. Which I mean, I kind of did that for the Xbox One to get Sunset Overdrive, but I don't know. I just don't want to I don't want to do that again. So, but yeah, overall, Microsoft's conference felt long. A lot of indie games. To be honest, most of the games I did not really care about personally, but I know people did. People cared for some of those games that were on there, so I understand. So, if I had to place Microsoft somewhere, I'll give them a B. You know, I um, I do think with Sony not being there, they got a lot of a load. So I kind of understand what they had to go through with their conference. And for what they had, it went pretty smoothly. I think they focused just a lot on the games. There was like really nothing else mentioned on there to sort of deteriorate you from, their emphasis, their focus, and it's on the games. So, good on them. And actually, so I've been kind of thinking it over. I think I'm actually gonna put EA in the D tier, cause the next one, come, well, actually no, but I'm probably gonna leave EA in D tier for now. I might change my mind. I don't know. We'll see. But the next one, Bethesda. Now this is an interesting one, cause at least for me personally, I felt like their E3 last year was very lacking. I'm not huge into Bethesda games, to be honest. I'm not really a fan of Elder Scrolls, Fallout. You know, I haven't played Doom, but or Wolfenstein, but I give credit where credit is due. So, Bethesda sort of went through some sort of difficulty um, with Fallout 76. The game was a complete and utter mess, a disaster. A lot of problems at launch, a lot of complaints, a lot of issues. And that was the first thing they addressed, which I will give them props for. They took it like a chance, they took the criticism, and they used that criticism to improve on Fallout 76. They're adding free content to the game and a new event, which is a battle royale, but it looks like a nice twist on battle royale. So what they did for Fallout 76, I applaud them, and I thought they did a really good job on that. So Fallout 76 was good. Then they announced Blades. They were talking about it, the mobile game, and it's coming to Switch. So that's a plus for Switch users. They're getting uh you know very extremely downgraded version of an Elder Scrolls game. Whatever. More stuff for the Switch is always good. I always think. Elder Scrolls Online, which I don't play, but a lot of people got excited for it, and it's just putting lightning. He's very, people got really excited for it, and so I don't know what's going on, but it sounds like it's good. So it's good on that. And now there was one about a game called, I believe it was Ghostwire. Is that what it was called? Let me double check. I want to say it was called Ghostwire. Yeah, Ghostwire. It's a game from a Tokyo studio, and you know, uh, I feel bad for these people. Their English is not very good, and there was one lady. Well, there was a guy there who, um, he had someone training under him, and he's passing on the project over to her, and the the man's name was I'm sorry if I butchered this, Shinji Mikami, who is the original creator of the Resident Evil franchise. And he passed on the game to creative director Ikumi Nakamura. And let me tell you, Keanu Reeves stole it from Microsoft. Nakamura stole it from Bethesda. She was like a sweetheart. So she was nervous, but she stood positive. She just had this fun energy, and honestly, again, she sort of sold me on the game. Even though I don't really know much about what the game is or like how it really is. I mean, it could be a good game, could be a bad game, but because of how she stood out, she has me like, hey, maybe I'll check out this game. Maybe when there's more information, I'll look into it. So it caught my attention. So that was the hook. So she was awesome. Um, so there was that. Then there was talk about Wolfenstein DLC, which if you like Wolfenstein, then the DLC looked fun, 2-player co-op. Nothing wrong with that. They showed Doom Eternal, looks hella fun. So a lot of people are looking forward to Doom Eternal. And they did talk about some mobile games, which were kind of like the slowdown part of Bethesda's conference. Um, can't think of anything else. Um, yeah, I think this pretty much it for what I can remember. So in terms of Bethesda's pacing, the pacing was, you know, they didn't really have too much to talk about, so they would milk the time by introducing people, giving a bunch of speeches, thanking everybody, blah blah blah, the usual shtick. So, and that department was very showing off mobile games. In my opinion, is not the best. What they did show for the actual games that they have and improvements to their existing titles, they did a great job. In my opinion, what they did for 76, what they're doing for Elder Scrolls Online, and new IPs that they're coming out with, and Doom Eternal, good job on them. They did good. If I had to rate them somewhere, I gave them a B. I was between a C or B or C, but honestly, Bethesda did pretty good this year in terms of what they need to do and what they need to say compared to last year's. So I'll give them credit where credit is due. Obviously, could have been better. Yes. When in this tier list, the B and C are kind of intertwined. C is sort of like you're losing the focus. You're still showing off games, but you're losing the focus. B is you have the focus there, but you still need some work. And then like A is like, you're pretty much almost there, and S is like perfect. Like you didn't do nothing wrong. So, for example, EA is direct, not much to say. Star Wars game. That's it. Really, no point even having a conference. Almost like that's probably why Sony didn't even show up, because they didn't have really much to show off. So why even have? Should just have a panel, but that's just my opinion. So, but Bethesda, good job. So, and now last of that day. Well, EA was Thursday. I think Thursday, and then Friday was Microsoft Bethesda. I think, I don't know. I'm getting my days confused. Um, this might have been Saturday. I don't know. Whatever. Devolver Digital. Now, Devolver Digital, I saw later on. Like it was already passed and everything. So I'm like, let me check it out. I want to kind of see like all the conferences. So I checked them out. I really did not know any of their games. Do I really seem interested in getting their games? Not really. There's probably like one or two games I saw that looked fun, but what I will say, one, their thing was more of a direct, so that's one thing to consider. And then second, their whole direct was based off a skit, and it was pretty damn funny. The lady, announcing all these games and everything, and the shit she went through on the during their little direct was hilarious. Probably one of the funniest directs, um, or just I guess conferences I've seen. So, and even tying into what they were trying to sell, it felt, like, all right, it was popping off. It was like, okay, so this skit goes with that and blah blah blah. So, you know for what it was, presentation wise, it was good. Do I really care for the games that they're selling? No, not really. But it was kind of felt like I was watching a some sort of SNL sketch, a really just weird SNL sketch. So I'll put it in C. Again, I don't really care for the games, but the actual presentation itself was at least entertaining. So, you know, it goes past EA, but I'm here for the games, not here for a show. So it's gotta go somewhere. So I think in between will be good. Whew. All right, here we go. Ubisoft. Now with Ubisoft, they start off with, um, since they're having like a world tour with like Assassin's Creed music, they start off the conference with Assassin's Creed like an orchestra, and holy crap, just hearing the Assassin's Creed themes and like Ezio's family from Assassin's Creed 2, and I hearing music from Brotherhood and Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 3, it gave me goosebumps because like, man, this series is great. Even though it's kind of fallen off a bit in my opinion, it's just sort of nostalgia for this series. So it started off on a good feel, and then we find out about Watch Dogs Legion, which looks pretty interesting. Uh, looks pretty different compared to the first two Watch Dogs. Might check it out. Maybe. So it's piqued my interest. Then they've also shown. What else did they show? Oh, they showed like a limited time, like event for Honor, which usually when they do that, well, the first time they did it for like one day only, it was like the rabbits were invading with you than just normal soldiers, which was pretty fun. But this time it's like some sort of spirit thing. I don't know. I'm like, okay, whatever. Rainbow Six was on there, showing up the new operative. If you play Rainbow Six, good on you. Then they also announced another Rainbow Six game called Quarantine, which I guess is like in the realm of Rainbow Six Siege, but it's like it's a PVE. I think it was 3-player co-op, 4-player co-op. I think it was 3-player co-op. They showed that. They've also shown Ghost Recon. Okay, and then they've also shown like this was I think they showed some Division 2 stuff. And they've also shown, and then they shown a thing for a TV show, which was like the most out of nowhere thing. Like, oh hey, yeah, I'm the guy from, I think it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like, oh, working with Ubisoft to make a TV show. Okay, called Mystic Quest. Okay, and then back to the games. So it was like very weird. That was definitely the most like, okay, like can't wait to see that show. Just only have like 3 episodes and then never hear from it again. And then we got Just Dance going, getting its 10th anniversary, I believe. So that's pretty cool. And then we got a game which, honestly, yeah, really out of all the games, besides Watchdog Legions, um, is this? Oh man, I can't remember what the game was called, but it's like you and other people are on rollerblades, and you gotta go like around this arena, some sort of, I guess, like weird Rocket League, and you have to get this ball into the hoop and score. It looked like a lot of fun. Definitely something you need to play just for like quick matches and all that stuff. It is like fun. So, um, and yeah, that's all I can really recall from Ubisoft's conference. Honestly, give it a C. The Definitely what killed it was that TV show, and of course, and the pacing was also like, just like talking. It's like, okay, can we see the games? They don't have much to show when most of what they're doing is talking, unless you're like Sony or Microsoft, where you're given more time. So, and there's only a few things in there that were interesting, and that was pretty much it. All right, so now we get to the big boys. These two, I'm gonna say right now, killed it at E3. At least for me personally, they killed it. Square Enix. The first freaking thing that they talk about is Final Fantasy VII's remake. And the information we got from here already made it one of my favorite like announcements at E3. It wasn't like an announcement, we already knew it was coming, but the information we got made me so happy. So happy, in fact, that I already went ahead and pre-ordered the first class edition, which is I don't even want to talk about it right now. But yeah, I just went ahead and just pre-ordered this game like instantly right after. That's how big, at least for me, this game felt. So I pre-ordered it, and then this is, I can't remember the last time. I feel like this is the first time in a while that this score was actually at E3. I thought it was gonna be like a direct style, but no, they were actually at E3 and they had a stage. And they showed quite a bit of neat stuff, and a lot of it was like RPG based. We got obviously like the Dragon Quest games. We got Final Fantasy Shadow Breakers, which a lot of people were excited for. We've saw the Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC Remind, which expands on the plot of Kingdom Hearts 3, which is very good. We've also finally getting Final Fantasy 8 Remaster. So Final Fantasy is finally coming to all these different consoles and PC, and it's getting a bit of a visual upgrade, which is nice. Very happy to hear that game is getting love again. And then there was a point where Square was showing off some of their indie games, which some people honestly forgot that they make some indie games. So honestly, that was kind of a pace breaker, and even to the point where in one of their games, the Battalion game, they were actually going through some of the guns, like if we're not knowing what the gun is or what it does. So that was a bit of a pace breaker, but they still kept going strong. Even if it was for games that I personally didn't really care for, I was still very excited for the people that were actually waiting for these games are getting these games, and it was really nice. And then they end off with Avengers, and as weird as the models might look, I'm still very excited for this game, honestly. And them saying that there's gonna be future updates that give us free characters, and it's a four-player co-op, so it just sounds like a lot of fun. So overall, Square Enix really killed it for me. Um, I wouldn't exactly say they were perfect by any means. I put them in A. I wouldn't say they're exactly perfect, but it had some games that I was interested in. Especially with I want to say this right now. Final Fantasy VII Remake is my number one game that I am looking forward to in the future, like hands down. Like Final Fantasy VII for me, if I really wasn't looking too critical into this, I believe Square Enix would be my number one. And I mean, in a way, it still is. But when actually breaking it down, obviously the everything on there is not exactly going to be what I would want. But I know it was what a lot of people and a lot of fans of Square Enix would want. So honestly, Square Enix did really good this E3. Very good, like really good. So I'll put them at A. In my heart, they're S. Now Nintendo. Nintendo is at S. All right, hear me out. First of all, is Nintendo. They're doing their normal direct. All right, and the first damn thing that they talk about is a DLC character for Smash Bros. And it's the guy from Dragon Quest. Honestly, it sucks that the main character from Dragon Quest. I think it's 11. A lot of people like 11. It's fine, but me personally, I would want it like someone like Sora or something like that, or Banjo Kazooie, whatever. But I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And it's cool that his alternates are the like different heroes, like version of the main character from the different Dragon Quests. So whatever, it's cool. And he's coming in the summer, which is awesome. That means like right around the corner. Then we got some crazy announcements, and like well, first of all, before I get into that, um, they introduced us to the new president of Nintendo of America, Doug Bowser, and he did it in a very good way of introducing Doug. And honestly, Doug, welcome to the Nintendo family. Well, you've always been there, but you know, um, we all know you're filling Reggie's shoes now. But hey, man, best of luck to you. And the way they introduced him was nice with the whole Bowser thing and everything. It was very nice. So, but after that, it was just straight game after game. So they talked about Marvel vs. Ultimate uh, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. They talked about Pokemon again, which it looks even when we already got information about Pokemon, this is still like getting me hype up for Pokemon. It's like, yeah, dude, let's go with these gym battles and everything. um, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion 3 looks awesome. Um, No More Heroes 3, like what? Um, and all these other games, and then they quickly go over like all these like these games coming over to the Switch, and like some of them were like Witcher 3, like what? And then there was Alien Isolation, what? And then there was Spyro Reignite Trilogy, what? It's like all these games is coming out, and they're just like spitfiring these games like no tomorrow, like ba 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 ba. So it was just going, just game after game. And then the last two announcements, um so they actually had another Smash Bros. Character to announce, and it was Banjo freaking Kazooie. That made it for me. Um, I the first Banjo Kazooie I played on the 360 because I didn't have an N64, I didn't beat it, but I got pretty far into the game and I loved it. Um, so and I honestly I wanted Banjo in Smash Bros. Because he deserved it, honestly. And to hear that Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, was just like, yeah, it was easy. I'm like, yeah, sure, you use them. It's like, wow, dude, like we're at that point where companies just like come together and just like cut the bullshit. It's like, hey, you know what? Hey, you want to use my character game? Sure, why not? It's just like give it to them. It's like, wow, dude, that's awesome. So seeing Banjo Kazooie's come into Smash Ultimate in fall, fantastic. And then at the end, they have the balls to be like, hey, you know what? We're not done yet. And then they drop the bomb, and it's a sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Holy crap. Nintendo killed it this E3. Personally, a lot of the games that they showed are pretty much most of the games they showed I had some form of interest in. Um, they were spitfiring really fast, and then some of the things that they did announce I really liked, and they still had surprises. That's amazing, you know. Which Square had some good stuff too, but like the pacing in Nintendo's was just so much better. And is exactly. I just want to hear news. I just want to hear about games, and there was barely any talking. Like Nintendo's got that whole thing down packed with the direct style, and yeah. So that's pretty much my tier list. With EA obviously being the worst, honestly not surprising at all to Nintendo. In my personal opinion, according to the way I ruled this tier list, Nintendo was the best at E3. I believe there were, Nintendo's been pretty damn good with their stuff, and honestly, Smash characters aside, because that's always like the big like, ooh boy. Um, they did have some pretty good announcements, and honestly, gets me really excited for Nintendo games in the future, especially. So this is my official tier list. Hopefully, I explained it decently enough, sort of justify the tiers that they're at. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. How would you rank the conferences that were there? Again, I didn't see PC Gaming Show, and Sony wasn't there, so I'm not gonna put PC Gaming anywhere up there since I can't really exactly give it a proper rank if I didn't really see it. So, all right, so that's it for the tier list. Thank you all for watching, and have a great rest of your day. See ya.